All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo. Man, a star is born, I do believe. Awesome, seriously big numbers for him in the fight with Brian Castano on Showtime. Also, Jaron Ennis was on that card. Big success for the PBC in this fight. Let's talk about what the numbers and what they mean in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano. Did absolutely exceptional numbers on Showtime, along with Jaron Ennis, who was on the undercard. He did excellent numbers, which may bode very, very well for the PBC and Showtime. Hopefully, we will get more fights like that on regular Showtime. However, now people are going to have to take note of Jermell Charlo because, look, man, there's not a lot of people that do numbers like that in boxing on regular television, and we'll talk about that. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for coming to the channel. Please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. All right, so according to Boxing Scene, Brian Castano versus Charlo peaked it at 832,000 viewers, which was Showtime's most viewed fight in the last 3 years. Now, the average viewership was around 256,000. And what is significant about that? It is bigger that is a bigger fight than when Gervonta Davis last fought on Showtime. It was more people watched that fight from the last time that Errol Spence Jr. had fought on Showtime. I do believe he did somewhere around 700,000 when he was viewed. Now, obviously, this is an undisputed fight. You also had Jaron Ennis on the undercard, so there was a lot of anticipation about the fight. But this fight did significantly better than what the fight did, the first fight that Jermell Charlo had with Brian Castano, which I do believe brought in, let me just move this down here again, an average viewership of 422,000 with a peak of 536,000. So that is over 300,000 more people at the peak were watching the fight between Brian Castano and Jermell Charlo. And the fact that the fight wound up being so entertaining has to add to the credibility of Jermell Charlo. And it looks like Jermell Charlo just had his breakthrough moment, man. Becoming an undisputed champion and at the same time having extremely good numbers. Now, why is 836,000 on Showtime a big number? Let me explain that to you. First of all, on Showtime. Showtime is not free television. I'm sure there are people going to be in the comment section talking about how, well, he fought on free TV, so, it's really not. No. First of all, Showtime is not that big. When you compare it to either HBO or when you compare it to ESPN. ESPN has millions and millions and millions more subscribers than or access to people have access to that than does Showtime. Showtime costs about $15 a month. It is what you call a premium network, and the only person to have gotten more numbers than Jermell Charlo was Deontay Wilder. And you see what happened with Deontay Wilder in his pay-per-views when he was matched with a high level competition that people were interested in. The pay-per-view wound up being very, very successful. This bodes very well for Jermell Charlo moving forward. Jermell Charlo should be able to get whatever fights that he's going to take next. He's probably going to get top dollar for the fight. And Showtime now has another feature fighter to present on their regular network if that's what they decide to do. Now, I don't know necessarily. I wouldn't say that would makes him a more popular or a bigger name than, say, Gervonta Davis or Errol Spence. What those guys have proven is that they can sell out arenas. And what we've not seen out of Jermell Charlo is selling out the arena. That was not the case. If you looked at the seats in Carson, California, I can't remember what it's called. They call it the Punch Bowl. It switched names so many times, but was the what was it? The StubHub Center at one point in time. But regardless, you know, obviously the ticket sales for that fight, it did not look like a really, really packed event. It was a smaller, you know, it was definitely a smaller stadium. However, the interest for Jermell Charlo obviously has increased over time, and this is just a really big mark for him and a mark for Showtime. Now, on the other side of it as well, a lot of people tuned in to watch Jaron Ennis. They said that the peak for the period of time that Jaron Ennis was on was 430,000. So, you know, that to 430,000 people watching Jaron Ennis in the beginning of a Showtime card really is a big deal. Obviously, this kid has a lot of support, and people tuned in for the fight, for that specific fight, because again, if you look at a lot of these other guys' numbers and what they do on Showtime, the biggest cards they have sometimes have not done that. But great decision though from Showtime by putting that on regular Showtime, footing the bill and taking it out of their budget to do it, because it was definitely a big reward to boxing fans. You know, I'm sure it really increased Jermell Charlo's visibility, you know, significantly. Now, he's not going to benefit from the increased visibility like, you know, say Errol Spence Jr. did when the PBC was putting fights on. I think it was on CBS. I always mix it up whether it was CBS or NBC that he fought on, when he was able to be viewed by 6 million people. But to have more eyes on Jermell Charlo definitely can lead into better things for the 154-pound division. Now, what he's going to do next is going to be interesting to find out. Is it going to be Costa Tszú's son, Tim Tszú? Will it be Sebastian Fundora or Erislandy Lara? Just going to be very interesting to see what steps he takes next. But whatever the case is, man, it was really nice to see this man, Jermell Charlo, get his shine. Hopefully after this, maybe they will also give the man the credit that he deserves as far as being one of the top fighters in boxing, because that is what that man is, having cleared out a very, very deep division in the 154, that being the 154-pound division, having become an undisputed champion by fighting the best fighters in the division, and honestly really having to earn it in order to get it, because Brian Castano was a very, very tough fighter, man. Came to fight, put on a great show, difficult fight, first fight and the second fight. Not an easy guy to beat, but he overcame it, and he became pound for pound. So good ratings, great performance, big accolades for Jermell. Man, my hat goes off to him. Congratulations. I don't think the man could have had any better a night. Maybe if people start giving the man the credit that he's due as one of the top fighters in boxing, then people may start jumping on planes and going in person to see a great fighter fight, instead of having people just brush this man off like what he's doing, like what he's doing isn't good enough. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.